welcome to Your Soul Wisdom, hosted by Yana Amor Manocas. In each episode, we invite you on a transformative journey delving into the profound mysteries and wisdom of the soul. Join us as we explore a wide array of spiritual topics and sacred practices that nurture and heal the soul, from reincarnation and soul contracts to the enigmatic experiences of womb alchemy and astral travel. Our discussions are designed to enlighten, inspire, and deepen your understanding of your own soul's journey. With Your Soul Wisdom, nothing is off limits. God, what inspired today's episode? Okay, so let's just get into it. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, literally yesterday. And in the middle of the conversation, as we were talking about an event, my response as I'm talking, all of a sudden, the words coming out of my mouth is, this feels like a karmic debt that's been paid off and finalized. And I went, that's like, where is this coming from? What does that mean? I mean, I understand what it means, but then it kind of stemmed me off into this whole, like, that's where'd that come from? Okay. Sometimes you say things and you're like, I don't, okay. Then I fast forward to later yesterday evening. I was talking to Folly, our dear friend Folly, and we were just catching up between her and I, and we were talking about, like, you know, what's going on essentially, like, in our lives and our clients and people we talk to and that kind of thing. And she's like, you know, it feels like everyone is just kind of, and the women, it was women that was really pointing it out, maybe because we attract more women kind of thing. But she goes, it feels like these women are all going through these huge moments in their life right now. And it's a tough time. And so the karmic debt came up again. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe it'll sound weird, but karmic debt came up earlier. And it feels like this debt's being paid back and like null and like the total's now, like the contract is null and void. And she's like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Okay. So then we kind of dove into that. And it really got me thinking about karmic debt. And then I thought, it reminded me of this one book that I've read. It's Hebrew based. And it really talks about how, you know, the Jews say Hashem, that's their word for God. Okay. And they say that Hashem, when you hurt yourself, when you stub your toe, when you experience a loss, whatever it is, it's as if you're paying a debt to a different worldly version of you, meaning, you know, a different timeline, reality, life, all of that. And when I remember when I had first read it months ago, it pissed me off, right? I know. Rage or anger, right? Okay. But it pissed me off. I'm like, I don't want to pay debt for anyone. And I didn't get it. And it was frustrating. And I was like, whatever. And then having these conversations yesterday and kind of feeling the energy of it, I was like, oh my God, what happened in the conversations is that it very much felt like the karmic debt was paid off for different timelines, different realities, different whatever. And it really felt like it was like, oh, and now it's done. Contract is ripped. And then I'm like, I understood for the first time how, or maybe I accepted for the first time, or remembered for the first time how we're not just experiencing this life. I know we talk about this all the time, but it's one thing to talk about it. It's another to really start to embody it. We're not just living and working on this lifetime, we're working on all of them. And as they bleed together, you are taking care of different things for different versions of yourself. And at the same time, I'm listening to a podcast and they start talking about there's this Google quantum computer. And I'm almost done with this and we're going to dive, okay? But I was like, this was blowing my mind. They call her Willow, is this mega computer. She is just the fastest computer or the fastest AI, like beyond like our conceptual brains can really bring in. Anyway, And what they say, because I wrote it down, what they're saying is that Willow is able to calculate and get answers as fast as she does because she is able to tap into multiple universes to get the answers quicker. And it said Willow is doing the example. Willow is doing one calculation while an unknown number of Willows in other universes parallel to our own are doing their own calculations, and they are sharing that data to avoid having to individually do every possible calculation on their own to finish it quicker. Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
What universes is a computer pulling from?
They don't know. At least they're saying they don't know. They don't have all the information yet. And I'm thinking to myself, the example they gave of Willow, which is insane, because now as a society, now you are acknowledging that there's parallel universes and timelines.
Yeah, that's
That
what I
is
was thinking.
huge. Yeah.
It's
And then I thought, if Willow's able to tap into all these other universes, so are we all the time. And we talk about this.
We've talked.
yes.
And then so when it comes to karmic debt, right? We talk about Kylie. You shared before how in a previous lifetime your husband, did he burn you because you were a witch? What was it?
He did.
He's done quite a few things
He
to
was
her.
the one who killed me because of dick. But here we are, married.
Yeah, he's on a good behavior bond
Make
now.
his life a living hell every day.
I don't mean to be a pain in the bum,
As
but
karma
I want to talk
debt.
about this karmic debt thing because I don't really get it. And like, I don't like my own experience of stuff is that, as far as energy and karma goes, I don't think it's as simple as you do this to me and I have to do this to you and then we're even kind of thing. I don't even think that a lot of karma has to do with the same people that you're dealing with at the time. So when you're saying karmic debt, honestly, that's finished. What's coming up for me is lesson learnt. I have learnt this lesson. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't have to participate in this. Is it that kind of feel?
I think different words, same energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
use some of your words to tell me about how it is for you.
Amanda.
Okay.
okay. No. No.
You know
So
she
I was
wants.
gonna
You
say-
know she's diving in.
Deflecting.
Yeah.
So I was going to say that it's all parts make the whole. So it is what you're saying that people get to a point whereby they say, okay, done, lesson learned. I'm not going to go through that again, and I'm not recreating that again. But it also is that I won't do this with you again.
Right.
So people become very aware that this is what is happening this lifetime. And so it's a case of done, dusted, will not be going over that again. And I'm saying that in this lifetime. So if you come to find me on the other side and, oh, please, will you come back with me and, and teach me this? And I want to learn this of you. And I really want to think, Bobby, no.
Hard no.
No.
Okay, well, I'm not going to seek you out.
I'm done.
Hey, we're in the
I'm
good
done.
books.
Do you know what I mean? It is. But I also think that because of where we are in this lifetime and where we are in our place of remembering, for us, there's going to be a lot of clearing up and a lot of tying up of loose ends because of the knowledge that we have now that we probably didn't have before, in a sense of how much agreement we were in terms of what we decided, what coming back here meant. And so I think that this whole karmic debt thing is, for the most part, is a tying up of all these ends because of our knowledge in terms of getting off the karmic wheel.
Yeah.
Because the karmic debt is what ties you into this
Yep.
this constant reincarnation, this constant wheel, and that's what you get sold, and that's what you're setting this life up for the next life, to come back and figure out either this life or the life that you did in 1640, or the life you did whenever, So that's what it is really all about. But you can get to a place whereby you say 2 fingers up to karmic debt. I'm not getting involved. I don't give a toss. It's not happening.
Yeah,
I'm not buying into it. I'm not giving any toenails to it. And And
But it sounds like there needs to be a certain point you reach where you have
correct.
reconciled that.
Well,
Yeah.
and so what's interesting
That's
is
correct.
as I was reflecting all night, of course, I'm sitting there making a jigsaw puzzle because that is like my happy place. And then my brain is able to like think. And I'm sitting there going, well, I've had an experience before where I've gone, and we talked about right that one relationship where I was like the light switch went off, and in that moment you're like, oh, I'm done. There's nothing keeping me here in this moment anymore. But but having that realization this time and being very conscious that that's what was happening feels like a completely different experience.
Yeah.
It just feels like, holy shit, like this is actually happening. I feel it. It's a conscious decision, and it changes everything. And
because it shifts the energy, you're no longer pulled there. Whereas before, you may, it's like quite magnetic. You get back into those situations, whatever it may be. But when this shift happens, and I think, I think we've all experienced one at least, but it's like, I'm done. I'm good. There's nothing in me pulling me. Like there's no more pull. So it makes it almost easier, even though the situation may have been incredibly difficult.
yeah.
So, what's crazy is that, so I have to admit, I had no idea what we were talking about today. No idea. I'm like,
I still don't know if I'm really got my head around
We're
it.
just
So
having
now
a conversation.
Now I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm digging what we're talking. Okay, I kind of understand. And I literally have had a come to Amanda moment, and I'm not going to say Jesus because we're talking about Amanda. Had come to Amanda moment recently. So I went to Australia, and that's my home country. There's a lot of baggage there, right? I've come back, and I'm like, I'm free. And for the first time ever, I can honestly say I could not give two shits about that flying toenail, about any karmic debt. I'm not interested in it. And I'm wondering if I'm having an Amanda moment where
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know whether I'm done officially or I just stopped caring about it and stopped giving it any energy.
Well, no, the charge isn't there. You're
Right.
not being compelled by anything. Like the pain, it's almost like a transmutation. It's like an alchemy
It
that
is.
happens, right?
It is.
And you
Crazy.
don't have to force
Beautiful.
it or try it. It happens.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
alchemical.
So
Yeah.
should I now not expect to, like, I suddenly don't want to put any Windex in my husband's coffee anymore for something that he did 200 years ago? Is that
That's right. You're over
something?
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're just like moved on. I might sneeze
Literally.
in it, but I won't put Windex in it anymore.
Does Windex still
Like
exist?
I'll be over it. Yeah.
Yes, because what's happened is that it is the alchemy. You have dismantled that part of the matrix, and those grids no longer exist.
Lightbody, just say
So then hold on. So then, as we talked about with our last rods episode,
Yeah.
when you essentially you can replace the word karmic debt with contract, with accord. All those words are interchangeable. But when that separation happens or that contract gets ripped off because it's complete, then is there versions of us that then start to collapse together when it comes to that? Right? Because we talked about how the rods agreed that we can collapse.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah. Because 100%. Because we all we kind of all do feed off into each other, where it becomes, like we said, where it becomes kind of difficult or challenging is when you're the one that's probably raised your frequency to a point whereby you could begin to shift a lot of things in different realities. So it's like all the other versions of you bring everything to your door, okay? Or they seek you or they find you, whether it's in meditation, whether it's whatever way they find you. So everything comes to your door. But it does happen like that. But you see, the completeness doesn't always mean that this is complete, this is finished in the way that we've figured it all out and it's done. The completeness is because you've made a decision. Believe it or not, you've made a decision to say, I'm not engaging anymore.
Yeah.
And this is not mine. I'm not carrying this. I'm not coming back. I'm not giving this another lifetime. You don't get any more of me, any more of my energy. It's not going to happen. So if this is a lesson if this is a person, if this is a lesson that they have to learn or remember, because, for me, it's all bull crap about this learning.
You can
But
swear.
if it is, but that's right. Okay. Do you know what I mean? But if it is because, that's the matrix that is built around us, then my decision was years ago was that if you have to come back and learn this, it won't be with me.
Do it with someone else.
You'll do it with somebody else, but it won't be with me and it won't be on my time. And I don't care. It's just not going to happen, So just like, I think I don't know if I've said it before in a podcast before, I just said it to you guys, just like me, when I found out about reincarnation, when I first realized that this was what was happening, it was a situation in a sense to do with my ex. And I remember stepping back onto the train or going to sit down and thinking, you won't get another chance with me in another lifetime. This is your only chance. So in my head, I was thinking, so either you make good of it or I'm done. And that was how I felt. And I know there will never be. And I know there's no other Mandas out there doing up a madness with this crazy.
And it's interesting too.
I've done the work.
Leading the way. It's interesting too, because we just recorded about the end of 2024 and going into 2025, and we talked about the 8-year and then the boundaries and the putting yourself first and not sacrificing yourself and letting go of things. So it's interesting that this has happened in an 8-year for Kylie and for you, and I feel like I had one of those moments too. So yeah, maybe people watching have had.
I can only barely relate to this, just by the way, if anyone else listening who's having trouble. And when I say that, like, there's definitely things that I would describe have expired in my life, people, events, things that I used to do. And each their own. And believe me, I'm not picking fights with any of you people when you say this. But if I was meant to make a declaration that was something like, I'm done with this, that honestly for me is very clear language that I am indeed not done with this and this is quite meaty and I should really get on with it, kind of thing. As I said, everyone's different.
Yeah.
So I haven't had that experience of consciously ever knowing that something has come to an end at the time. I've recognized it later, but it's almost like my opinion of healing is spontaneous. You can do a lot of work to ready it, but the healing spontaneous. I don't know. I feel like this sort of completion of karma or the completion of the learning is also spontaneous. And for me, I don't feel like it would make any difference whether I called it or not. Do you know what I mean? It will either happen in its own time.
It's interesting because you said, like, when you said, I know this is done, and that's still a charge really for you.
For me, if I was using that language.
No, I agree. I agree with me too. But what's interesting is, like, I'm not saying these things happen all the time. I believe I've had one experience of this. So it's not like I'm having them every couple of weeks. But also it is an internal shift that occurs, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
It's not something that you force. It's not something. No, it's just like this realization. It's a realization of you've actually transmuted, alchemized, whatever it was, and it no longer impacts you.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful way of saying it, because it really, really is. It really, really is. And it doesn't have to come out of, it doesn't always have to come out of, I'm done with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like done, right? It doesn't have to come out of that. It just has, sometimes it comes out of, that's it. I just don't feel the energy in my body anymore to do this or to do that.
I think that people equate like healing with this like big like reaction, like crying for days, and sometimes it's just as simple of, oh shit.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Right. And it's like, how is that
Yeah.
so easy? And it's because you've done the work
Yeah.
to embody that transition instead of it being this visceral kind of like fireworks and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. I mean, like, I don't know how many people out there would know anything about divine healing, but I'm going to mention something about divine healing, right? So, there's a chart in level 2 whereby it's like alchemy chart. I forget what the name is. I never remember the name of it, but it doesn't have a command code to it. So divine healing is a modality of healing, right? But it doesn't have a command code in it. You just have to feel it. Whatever comes up, you have to feel it. And you have to you can either just give it voice, or you just allow it to just move through you. And then you add a positive statement, and then you bring that to it. Do you know how many people struggle with not being able to have a command code to say, right, when I'm clearing you, or I'm shutting you down, and this is it, and I'm commanding the angels, wipe it out, burn it up in fire, purple flame, doosh, you know what I mean? But just sitting in that energy and just being in it, realizing it, transmuting it, because it is alchemy, and then bringing in the good stuff. People were fighting it. A lot of people fight it. They fight just being in that moment that just says, okay, all right, it's a done deal. It's done. I don't feel this in my body anymore. I don't have that urgency or that need to fight, to get you to
Yeah.
understand,
The
or to
fight's
get
gone.
you to wake up. It's just not there, and so it just doesn't matter anymore. It just and it could be all of those things. I don't care. Or it just simply doesn't matter anymore. For me, it was more a case of, I'm just not willing to give any more years, any more of my time to this. I am I'm I'm just, you know what I mean? I want to open up myself to all the other all the other beauty in life, or all the other beautiful people that can come into my life. And so said, so done.
Protecting the peace within you.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. It really was about that. It really was about protecting the peace within me. But I think
But I
I
feel
think
like if you want it to happen, sorry, Amanda,
no,
if
go
you
ahead.
want it to happen, you're pushing it further away.
Yeah.
It's like you cannot make this happen. It happened. It just
0%.
you
Right.
can't make this happen.
So it has the spontaneous thing that Rachel spoke about, you know. It's not something that you plan. When it happens, it happens. It's almost like it's almost like it really is alchemy. It comes up in your body and you just say, yeah, I'm over it.
I wonder how we get to that point. Is it just through being fed up? Is it through just doing work on ourselves and it's a natural thing? Like, how do you get to that point? How did I can't even articulate, I don't even know.
It
Well,
comes.
Mm.
Go on.
well, what I was gonna say
Yeah.
was because I've had that conversation in my mind many times. How do you get to that point? Because
Mm.
you can have all the self-love and all the boundaries and all the thing, but when you are tied to somebody, all of that just it can't help you fully disconnect. And so the what actually came to my mind last night was, well, if yes, we have free will, okay? But if we are predestined for X, Y, and Z, at some point, checkpoint B has to be checked for you to get to that next phase. So, like we talked about with the rods, you could either get there and go, you know what, this really isn't the best thing for me, and I'm just gonna do my best and move forward, or you're gonna get hit, some big dramatic thing will happen, and then you're gonna go, oh yeah, it's time to move forward, and now I can finally do it. Right. And I think it just happens where it's like the time was ticking. It just how long was it going to take you to get there was really up to you. So it was going to
I
happen
feel like
regardless.
I feel like there's another element too. I'm thinking of Matt Kahn and the way he speaks about forgiveness, because I believe, yeah, sorry if I'm misquoting that, but that you can't force it to happen. It's not something that naturally occurs when you're ready, right? So this whole thing of like you're trying to make something happen is actually you resisting what actually is and trying to be in the future. And I feel like I totally lost what I was going to say then.
Forgiveness. You don't have to force
Yeah.
forgiveness. Matt, we want
Yes.
you on the show to come and explain
I
it.
know.
Maybe that was your point, was just the
That was
forgiveness.
the point.
Maybe.
You can't
Well,
force forgiveness.
actually, well, okay, no, I've got it now. Okay, so often in these situations that we're talking about, they're usually relationships and, you know, typically, I think, speaking, I don't know if it can be other things, but it's this feeling of, I don't need someone to be right. I don't need someone to be wrong. I don't need to blame anyone. I'm just choosing me now.
Yeah, correct.
So
Correct.
because I feel
Amen.
like, thank you. So I feel like, you know, in society, we're like, someone's got to, well, I mean, we want to take accountability, but someone's got to say sorry and someone's got to own what they did. It's like, this is what's playing out. And I don't have, I'm not playing anymore. I'm choosing me.
Correct.
And that is it.
I know the game that has been played. You know what I mean?
pretty
I know the
profound.
game that's been played. I know the cosmic joke. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't want to be part of this game anymore.
I get something similar. Like, I realize, like, when I'm coming to the end of an experience or karma or whatever you want to call it, what I notice is that I feel that I have choice again. You know, like when you're locked into something that you're triggered with, you're not conscious of any choice. It feels like this is the only way that it can go and you have to do, you know, this kind of thing. But when things have settled down and I have healed, then, you know, you can see that, firstly, that I have lots of choice in every circumstance, but there are infinite choices in every situation. So anyway.
Yeah. And to be clear, getting to this point comes with lots of pain.
It's excruciating.
It really is. There is no easy, like, done. Like, oh, this is such a great road. And not, you know, it
I wrote down all my feelings and now I'm okay.
right.
No.
You have experienced the highest highs and the lowest lows. And you may have been pulled there kicking and screaming until you realize I don't need to be pulled. I've reached that line. I've naturally reached that moment and it's okay.
Yeah.
And when you are in that space, it also doesn't mean that, because I've had both experiences where the first one, the switch went off and I was like, man, if I never hear you say a single word to me again, I'm so good. And then the other, it could also show up where you know you're done, but it may still take a minute while the charge is literally 10% and 5% and it's literally dying down. That last bit of percentage left can still pull at you and you still have emotions and you still have attachments to this stuff, but you feel that at the same time that you're having these emotions, it's also releasing you. So it's such
you're on the other side of it.
Yeah, on the other side.
And it's like that cords episode we recorded. Do you remember when we were talking about birth and the umbilical cord? And Nadine was speaking about, you know, when it naturally starts to close when the baby has everything it needs, you know, and then we talked about natural endings. It's exactly this.
Yes.
It's like, you know, there's no command code for that. It actually just happens. But to I think, Kylie, you said before, how do we do this? Is it healing? Is it we just had enough? It's like Yana's jigsaw puzzle, I feel. It's lots of different pieces clicking into place in the way that they need to. And I actually don't think we can intellectualize that. I feel like it's an energy that happens that we don't necessarily understand. But I think it's a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice one.
Rachel,
Yes.
are you more connected to the concept than you were?
Yeah, look, I'm definitely getting clarity on it. As I said, and maybe I went into it with a sort of different idea because I thought the conversation was going to be much more about karmic histories with people through the ages, that kind of thing. And I don't honestly know how I feel about that. So I was kind of waiting for you guys to kick off and then for me to see how my body was responding to that stimulus. So,
you see that?
Yeah.
So that's interesting because that is what I think that conversation usually would have been like. But I think we've kind of gone at it or come at it from like a completely different perspective because everybody would talk about, well, well, we were this in this lifetime and stuff like that. And now I feel, but we've come at it from a completely different perspective. Do you know what I mean? But I think
because the other way is still buying into the story of it in a way.
buying
Like
into the
it
story of
existed, it's relevant.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's not relevant or it doesn't matter, but I'm not spending my energy on that anymore.
I'm not. Because the thing is that, you know, if you look at the real truth of it, in this lifetime, we have to come into consciousness, full soul consciousness, and then decide what it is. Try and remember what it is we actually were hoping to come in here to do, or wanting to come in here to do. If we could remember, if we could lift that veil or dissolve that veil and get back our true memories. If you don't, then you're on the wheel and you're doing what the Matrix wants you to do. Yeah, you're fulfilling all these karmic debts, all these relationships, all these people coming into your life. You know, you stepped on my toe, you know, and that's why I've got a bunion, and I don't know what it is, this toes.
Well, this is
know.
the stuff.
That's how we know to piss Amanda off.
Yeah, you know, or you ran over me in 1765 with your horse and cart. That's why I've got one leg, and so now
Savage.
that right. So you know, I've come back now because like the person who. You know, because the person who's going to saw off your leg in the operating room was the person that, you know, you chopped off their leg in another lifetime. And so we're just playing this game and we just keep living it out. And this is what it loves. This is what it keeps you feed. So what you do, what the Matrix wants you to do is to keep building material. You're building material in this lifetime for the next lifetime. And you're building this karmic debt. What is happening for those of us that are waking up or coming into full soul consciousness is that there are some things that we have to shut down, that we have to say nada, goodbye to, and shut it down and clear it from our fields, because there's such an emotional dent in us and it's so wedged in there that it is possibly going to be a pull when you cross over. When you cross over, it's setting you up. Do you know what I mean? To come back and say, well, I just want to figure this one out. I just really want to sort this out. Just one more lifetime I'll give to it. I think it's about coming into, once again, like I said, full soul consciousness in this lifetime. You're clearing up all that stuff to get to where it is you really want to be, because what we don't realize is that we are leaving a lot of ourself and a lot of our power in all these different spaces and places and karmic, or all these different people. We're leaving bits of ourselves. What do you think soul retrieval is about? Soul retrieval is about we become so fragmented through trauma. And so, you know, we've left a bit of ourselves here and a bit of ourselves there, you know. Before you know it, how much of yourself do you actually...
There are no bits left.
There's no bits left. So what do you really come into this lifetime with? You almost come in like you're the Walking Dead, like, you know what I mean, like you are the Wraith. Do you know what I mean? And you're just literally walking around with literally nothing. You've got no energy, you've got no power, and then by the time you get all of that back, you're 19, you're dead.
I think another thing to a point we were speaking about earlier, you know, when Rachel said it's like I can say I'm done, but it's not done. I think in these situations where you experience the alchemy, it's like this sense of peace inside. And it takes you by surprise because it is so different to everything you've experienced too. Yeah. So it's
beautiful. Yeah.
It brings you to that place of peace. And it's like, oh, I didn't know I could feel this way.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, you then start to realize that everything can feel that way as well. But you can't force it. Just got to say that.
Yeah.
You just can't force it.
I love that. Because I got the image of, you know, you look for it. It's like when you do the healing work and then you look for that energy and you can't find it. Do you know what I mean? You look in your armpits, you look at everywhere, you know what I mean? And it's just,
going all over the body today.
It's gone, yeah. Don't worry, we'll get to the boob soon. Do you know what I mean? Well, women have so much stuff. Women have so much stuff tucked away in their breast. So much.
Oh, you went there.
Tucked away. I did go there. Yeah.
She got there.
Tell us about what kind of things.
Trauma.
Sometimes in my phone tucked in there, does that count?
Oh my God, you don't tuck your phone in there.
I know, like cancer.
I do have crystals in my bra.
Radiation.
Crystals you can put in your bra.
Crystals in your bra? Oh yes, you said you put crystals in your
I
bra.
have a girlfriend.
Like the
do.
Austin Powers episode where she's
gives her 5
shooting
nipples.
stuff out of
Put
her
them to the
crystal nipple.
side.
Oh, okay.
Now everyone's going to be looking at my boobs
There you
to
go.
try and see what crystals I got in there.
That's right. You cut me off in
That's the
traffic.
rose
Phew!
quartz. Yes, but women, we carry a lot of trauma in our in our in it's really interesting, isn't it, how we do carry trauma. We carry trauma in our breast, we carry trauma in our pelvic area, things like that, and not only that, like fibroids are supposed to be unfulfilled goals, desires, wishes. So that's why sometimes with fibroids you can see people, you know, they almost look like they're 3 months pregnant, or they're like 4 months pregnant, and it's a fibroid, because that's how the fibroid's grown, and it's big, and it's just unfulfilled
Dreams.
desires, dreams, wishes.
I've wondered about endometriosis as well, because that is it just feels so prevalent.
It is all of a sudden more so than in the years gone by. And there's another one that's called endometri. I don't know. I should know the name of this. Meiosis, I think it is. Endomyosis.
Yes, no, it starts. I've got it, and it's just because I had to go to a doctor recently,
Yeah.
and they said that I developed it, and it starts with an A, but it's when the
this
lining.
one's endo. Yeah, the
Is it when
lining,
the lining, and it actually grows
but it's
through
higher
the
up.
womb
Yes, and it's
stuff like this,
higher up.
yes.
Yes, so it's different.
I
to
have the pleasure of that
endometriosis,
experience.
but, you know, wow, that's really
Unusual.
And they've only just realised that.
They said it's only just developed as well, is what
Wow.
it looked like to them, only in the last few years or something like that. But as you know, Amanda, there's endless joys in being a woman in your mid-50s.
Telling it now.
Tell me about
it. Let me tell you. That might be the hardest thing ever to sell.
But do you know something? I wanted to come back as a woman. That I know.
Same.
Who would want to come back as a man? I mean, for all of the advantage, and I do mean it, like there is endless advantage of being a man. Like the constraint is even more significant than I think with women. I mean, like we're constrained in a different way structurally, but not within ourselves. Men are constrained within themselves, you know, to each other. I can't imagine anything worse.
No, I just knew that I just wanted to come back. Yeah, I understand that I knew I was coming back as a woman. An interesting thing is, like my mum said that she wanted a girl born on a Saturday. She's named Amma. Amanda.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
And that was me. So, and I knew, I wanted to come back as a woman, because I knew that was where I could do the most.
Okay,
the most damage.
You guys, I'm gonna derail us right now. You ready? Before I explain, I want you to cross your hands, like full, like church hands,
Like this.
Okay. And then pay attention to which thumb you have on top. Remember, your left side is your maternal sign, your female sign. Your right side is your male sign. Who's got a left thumb up? No!
Oh,
So
Amanda.
when I was younger, I don't even know where I got this, but I would always, like, everyone in front of me, I would do that game and I'd say, oh, this means that if you have if your left thumb is on top, that you were a woman in your previous lifetime. And if it's your right on top, because if you try to reverse your thumbs, it probably feels really awkward.
So weird.
Yeah, I don't really know how to do that.
Right. So if you have your right on
that
top,
is so weird. Why does that feel so weird?
So weird.
Oh, maybe I think
the whole
because I have to unlock my hands. You have to be open.
Yeah.
I still put the right on top. What the fudge?
Oh, hold on.
You've all got to come and do Bikram yoga.
Is anyone right-handed, left-handed? Does that make a difference?
Oh my God, that's really wild.
Oh, are we learning something new about each other? Who's lefty?
I'm a lefty.
No. Are you really?
Oh,
my mum was a lefty.
Interesting. You're weirdo.
Boy,
no, I'm
if
kidding.
she clapped you with that left hand, she'd spin you 360 degrees.
Do you know the theory about how left-handed people may have evolved? And it's because there's many, many, many more people are born as a twin than what they realize. And I can't remember the exact thing, but it's something like if the original cell separates, let's call it after a day, then you get identical twins. But if it separates after 2 days, then you get mirror twins. And that means that, for instance, if one of them has a slightly raised right eyebrow, the other one will have a slightly raised left eyebrow, like they are literally mirror twins.
Okay.
And the theory is that left-handed people are surviving mirror twins.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Yeah, because mirror
that's
twins is always one's
deep.
right-handed and one's left-handed and all that kind of thing. But it's something like 40% of pregnancies, I think. I feel like we're going to get people writing in and saying, Rachel, could you do some actual proper research before you say this? Because I am dredging up stuff that I read 20 years ago, literally
We're
maybe 25 years
paraphrasing
ago.
people.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm really quite sure that it's something like over 40% of pregnancies are multiple births, but the twin vanishes before it can be perceived. So yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
Really?
Wow.
Anyway, sorry.
Wow.
So yeah,
so
maybe you were a twinnie.
So we were women in our previous lifetime, except for Amanda.
Oh yeah, and the other thing is Amanda, go
No,
and do
I thought
Bikram
you
yoga. Because
Okay.
for Bikram yoga, you have to change your grip. We do 2 sets of everything. So when you said that, I really had to be conscious about which way I would naturally do that.
I
because
still
I've been
did
doing
it.
Bikram yoga so much that I can go either way and it feels the same to me now.
Which
I
was
had to-
difficult for you.
Yeah, that doesn't feel
Well,
right
I had to
me.
do the first posture in Bikram to see which one I start with. Because
Listen,
for the second, I swap.
Amanda, the reason you were like, I'm going to be a woman in this lifetime is because in your previous lifetime, you were like, you did the man thing. And you're like, this shit is
Oh,
not.
this is
not
shit.
good.
This shiz is the shiz, yeah.
Feel possible. Yeah.
Look, she's not fussed with that.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, well,
I don't like it, but it's possible.
One other thing I didn't want to bring up with this whole karmic debt thing is I feel like there is also the relationship where people, and again, relationship doesn't mean intimate, it could be parents, siblings, friends, whatever. But it very much, there is also the possibility that once that karmic debt is paid, then there is that possibility of a beautiful relationship between you and that other person because that energy goes away. I've seen that happen too. Okay, so I don't want to say it's all doom and gloom and like
it can be the
that
opposite
person's
as
out
well,
there like-
can't it? Can't it be working through karma could be the reason for the relationship? As in, like, it could be, to have that it exists to have the beautiful relationship, that you actually have to work through it to get there.
But I think too, it's to Rachel's point earlier about choice. Because when you're in the place where you're still being driven by that, the emotion,
Compulsion.
the pull, the cord, all the things, you don't have a choice. And that is very disempowering. And it's why you feel so bad, right? But it's like when the alchemy occurs, then you can move to a place where I choose. Like, and it could go either way. It can be like, I choose to not be around that. Or it can be, I'm okay being in this relationship. It's not affecting me in that way anymore. And I'm choosing.
Yeah. Has this wiped us out, ladies?
No,
it was
I'm thinking, has Kyla got anything? Have you got any karmic stuff going on? What's been going through your head, Kyla?
Well,
She had the experience in Australia.
yeah, that was a pretty recent thing. And I've been sitting with it's funny because like I came home because everything kind of happened while I was there. And I came home and I'm sitting there going, I suddenly don't feel any ties to this anymore. And then to give a slight backstory, so I had a really heavy childhood, right? And I went and I saw my parents, and it was a very kind of I acknowledged things have changed now. They're older, but I'm also at peace with what happened and I'm not letting this control anymore. And then I go see my cousin, who I haven't seen in like 30 years, right? And she watches the podcast. So, hi.
Oh.
And
Wow.
I just found that out too. So anyway, she was like, we were watching, just so you know, the family was watching this dynamic going on, but we couldn't do anything about it. But I'm letting you know that we tried to get you out of this situation. And we can only
Oh.
tell you this now because you've been so shut off because of my parents from the rest of the family that this is our opportunity to say this. And we're really proud of you for breaking out of that. And I was like, damn, like that, you know. And then I came home and I'm like,
Did you cry?
I'm good. No, no, I did not. I did not.
Oh,
But
no.
I know. Listen, I will crack
We'll get it there one day.
one day, and then I will not stop, right?
We're such good friends.
I know. Goals, hashtag goals. And so I came back and I was like, I suddenly don't care. I suddenly don't, I feel different. I've lost a ton of weight since coming back because I'm not holding on to that anymore. And
Mm.
the profound thing is that when I came back, so my parents don't call, they email, right? So I got an email saying, oh, this and this has happened, and my health has declined, and the nursing home's being discussed. And I'm like, wow, before this would have freaked me out because I would have like, oh crap, now I've got to relive all this shit and I got to go home and take care of all this. And I just got back. And now I'm like, you know what? You made your choices. Godspeed. And I'm
Mhm.
okay with that, right? Because I'm
Wow.
like, I'm good now. I'm good.
Mm.
And I don't have
Did,
to pay anything back. I don't have to like feel obligated. I don't have to, forgive
Yeah.
anyone because at the end of the day, it was acknowledged I wasn't making this up and I had support there. I just didn't have access to it because I was purposely cut off. And I'm like,
Mm.
you know what? Whatever. I'm good.
is part of it going home and the sort of spontaneous healing, you being able to sort of be you in that circumstance for the first time? Do you know what I mean? Because I
Exactly.
imagine
Yes.
you were trying to compromise yourself continually. And you went there,
Right.
you were yourself, you've experienced it, they've experienced you as being you. And that's actually a part of it as well.
That's exactly it because I think I was always seen as like this untouchable thing in the family because I was really heavily guarded by my parents, right? And I
Mm.
won't get into that in a public sense, but there was a whole dynamic that really shut me off from the world.
Mm.
And then they were like, we've been trying to get to you. And it was only through social media that connected us and reaching
Okay.
out and having, I'm like, I'm going to go see these people. And I went and saw these people, and it was absolutely life-changing in that aspect. Just that simple, we've been waiting for you.
Mm,
You know what I
Kylie,
mean?
that's
Wow.
lovely.
Isn't
Yeah.
that amazing? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? Fuck yeah, healing.
Fuck yeah.
I did the work, and here I
It's
am.
interesting. It's interesting to one thing, although the circumstances that lead to this eventually are typically always extremely challenging, there is
Mhm.
something very easy about the healing because it's like you didn't even know it happened when that
Mm.
moment hit.
That's right.
Yeah.
And like you can
Yeah.
go through years
And
of
people,
therapy
yeah, yeah,
and years of
and not get it.
seeking out different modalities and healers and seeking out this external healing and help and fix this fucking shit,
Yeah.
right? And then you come back to self and it's like, I feel like doing this and I did it. Boom, I'm done. And I'm like,
Yeah.
is that all it freaking took was me to acknowledge?
A
Go,
decision.
the guy
Yeah.
do shit, follow your
Lis-
intuition. And I'm
Literally.
like, fuck, it took 43 years to get to that point. But here I
Mm.
am. Thankful I did
Mm.
it. Peace out, bitches. Not doing this again.
Yeah.
Hold on, peace out, bitches. Can we like put that in the reel, please?
Yeah.
So actually,
Doing this again.
we are doing it
Dismantling
all
the
over the
hamster
place.
wheel. Joining Team Amanda. Hashtag Amanda. Hashtag goals. Now we're all good. But
Wow.
now, like, stuff can come up and I'm like, oh, what the fuck ever? Yeah.
No,
Yeah, because you know what?
because this experience is very empowering.
It
It
is very, very
is.
empowering. Very, very empowering.
Man.
And you start to make different choices about whether you want to actually give your energy to something. Do I want to engage in that? And you become, more discerning about where you put your energy. You're acutely aware of
Yes.
literally of the truth and how things, like I said, how things can bind you. So,
That's right.
I'd say 2 fingers up to karmic debt. I don't give a flying. I'm not interested in it. I don't want it. I don't need it. And I'm not paying anything back. I took it. It was me.
Right. And you
I've
know what
eaten
else
it.
too?
I've eaten it. So you know what?
It like this
Not
is
getting it
what my
back.
modality is. Like this is what people come to see me for. Is to release like curses and release dark stuff. And I'm like, that's questioning everything. Because at the end of the day, are we making a choice to hold on to this stuff?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, why are we holding on to past life curses that happened 6 lifetimes ago?
Yeah, I still think
Like,
there's
why I
the
have a job?
journey though.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I still think
Yeah.
there's
I do
the journey
too.
because it
You
really no, it really does depend on someone's level of consciousness and what they can hold.
Correct.
So I
It does.
feel like for any of us, say perhaps something comes up, we won't hold on to it. But someone who still hasn't reached the point of whatever point that is,
Right.
whatever step along the
Oh,
journey,
yeah, very true. Yeah.
they can't grasp it that as quickly or be as discerning. So
Yeah.
I really do
So
believe that everyone's situation is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
unique.
different strokes for
Yeah.
different folks.
Yeah, and there are
That's it.
people who say, I'm done. And I have been one of those. I'm done.
And you're
I'm
not.
so
Yeah.
done. But I know inside I'm
Not done.
really done.
I'm not done. Yeah, do you know what? That was me earlier on this year with another situation. Earlier on this year and probably last year, where I had said that I was done, never again, not dealing, not speaking, never again. That was me. I was done. And like I said, the person asked for help, and I stood up. And funny enough, I was having a conversation with my sister the other day, and it begs the question. I think she was trying to say to me that I think you really need to look at why you stood up, knowing that you had been done and knowing that this was not a good place for you to be in. Do you know what I mean? And I think maybe that had a little bit to do with, because I kept saying, well, I didn't know how to say no. I didn't really know how to say no. But when it finally got put to bed, I can't feel. In fact, every time I think about it, I laugh. So it doesn't bring up. Before it brought up a lot of sadness, a lot of anger in me. Now I think about this situation, I laugh. I just think to myself, Christ Almighty, like how did I? Like I said, red flags are flagging, and just no idea. Do you know what I mean?
I want to make a Christmas song about that.
Red flags are flagging.
Flagging.
Yeah. Yeah. Girls'
and
hands
so,
are waving.
But yeah, do you know what I mean? But I couldn't feel it anymore in my body. And so I know this time, I know there is nothing. I just don't. There is nothing that could warrant me allowing you in to disturb my peace, and that's what it is. There's nothing. Yeah,
Peace is such an underestimated emotion, right?
Yeah.
Because like that's been my theme the whole year. I'm like, I just want to be at peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
And so it makes you feel like saying that even if they, it's like you want to say to them, you take your karmic debt and go somewhere else and shop.
Shove it.
I've closed. Close sign on the door.
Your cheeks.
The door is closed.
Done. Take your flag somewhere else. That's right.
Okay, so I think we've definitely done karmic debt justice. And before we close it out, our lovely Lauren, I swear you have to do this every single time because when I hear you read, it makes my day. What do you got for us today?
Okay.
And we still want Carly's cards, dude.
Yeah, we need
Oh, yes.
After.
Okay,
Afterwards.
you
Okay, ready? I release you. I release all that holds you in my sphere. Though hearts may break and burst wide open, I release you. I release me. I release all that holds me constrained. Though outside may feel unsafe, I release me. I release all through my fields and through yours, through all realities, dimensions, and what lies beyond. I release all. I allow joy. I embrace all that makes life bright, through the shadows, through the night, into my sphere, into my light. I allow joy. I allow love. I embrace the energy of the divine. It holds me while I dance through time, to the place where I remember the truth of who I am. I am the shadow. I am the light. I am the stars that shine at night. I am all there is to be. I am the whispers in between. And when you watch the stars above, feel the joy and feel the love. Hold their magic in your heart and reconnect your worlds apart.
Lauren.
Amazing.
We need a sweatshirt, t-shirt, something with that on.
Yeah.
Mine's coming out with her book in 2025.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can have it. Yes, I am putting it out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
It definitely feels like that's something that like that's how you start off your morning. Like I know you love
Writing.
Asha Silver, abundance, worthiness prayer, like that same energy. This is how we
Yeah,
start
thank
the
you.
morning. I release you, I release me, and I bring in all the love and all the good. That was for me. It was for everybody, but that was
It was.
yeah, I love that. That was beautiful. Send
Thank
it
you.
to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say, send that. Send that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
share it, share it.
Put that in the
Okay,
group.
and Kylie, what do we got for our lovely last
So
card
I've got
pull?
romance angels because
Oh, Yana's going to love that.
I
Oh my
know.
God.
by the
Because
lady
we
who
all love
converted
each other
to Jesus.
so much. Yes.
I will
Okay.
always love love.
Can I just say this card felt, did you see me looking for this card on the floor?
No, but
Yes.
we believe
Okay,
you.
I was looking for a card yeeted itself out of the deck. I shit you not. Look, this is what it says.
What does it say?
What does it say? Pay attention
Pay
to the red
attention.
flags. Oh my God.
Shut your face! What does that say? What does that? No, seriously, I can't read it.
The red flags are flagging.
The signs are, what is it?
The signs are cautioning you.
Mm.
Okay, so I was like,
I can't even
why
read.
did you yeet yourself out of the deck? What red flag?
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, and it's funny. Okay, I'm just going to leave this here. Okay. These are the other two cards that came out. Make the effort. Okay. Isn't that beautiful? Little children here getting, okay. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take.
Mhm.
Okay. And then we got soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. So you make, I don't know what red flags are flagging for you. I don't know.
I tell you, that's a
But
very
apparently your soulmate
confusing
is you got to
little
make
set
the
for
effort.
me. I
So
agree.
maybe you're the
Oh.
red flag. Maybe you
Mm.
need to caution yourself. Put your mask down. Okay.
I'm flagging.
No, you're red flagging, Rachel.
Mm.
I don't know what any of that means, but look,
Either do I.
Well, it was like,
Anyway.
pay attention. It says it's worth putting your effort into. Follow your intuition, pay attention. If the flag's flagging, it's not the way to go.
there you go. Don't make the effort.
Not your soulmate.
No matter how
No.
beautiful it looks, no matter how cherubic it looks, or whatever the word is, cherubic.
Oh, what is that word?
You're right.
I don't know that
What?
word.
You know,
She's
that's
trying to say, if it looks like a cherub, it's not necessarily a cherub. Is
Yeah.
basically what it comes down to.
that's what I
Looks like a smell. Look,
Disguise
yeah,
as a
doesn't
little
smell like a
cherub.
cherub.
If it's
Okay.
not
I need to
cherubim,
find these
walk
cherubs
away.
Wait,
And like, look at this picture of like the red flag. She's like got a big hat on. Like, what the fuck is this?
is you
Right?
protecting yourself from the red flag?
I'm happy with the hat. That
Look.
looks good. That looks like something I'd wear.
Okay, well, you red flag your flag.
Wow. Okay,
What a
I
night.
think this
Profound
was
Lauren to that. Good luck.
What?
That was a profound Lauren thing to following up with this nonsense.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. I'm sorry. I can't maintain the energy.
you guys. I hope you enjoyed
Please
this
end this,
episode.
Yana.
Yes, we're done. We are closing This is our last episode of the year. Happy 2025, everybody. Wishing everybody nothing but blessings, nothing but your most optimal outcomes. Okay. If you are interested in booking a reading, a healing, a guided meditation session, a light body activation, or simply want to say hello, head on over to yoursoulwisdomshow.com. We thank you for allowing us to create this beautiful space, and we will see you next year. Have a good day.
See you next year, guys. Thank you for joining in with us.
2024
Bye.
bitches.